because the doctor tortured me, you see, while he was, when he was going to forcibly feed me. He got something very, very hard, forced it up my nostrils, and injured the, no, it isn't skin.
Membrane?
Yes, that sort of thing.
Mm.
And he disarranged it so that it always is tender, and it still bleeds now and again.
Does it really?
Yes, that's after 60 years. So the doctor knew what. I tell you, they're guilty of all sorts of things that the public don't know. Oh, the hypocrisy that is concerning medicine, simply dreadful. And they never tell you of the side effects.
Of forcible feeding, you mean?
It isn't awful. They never, and of course you don't get well, you know, from forcible feeding afterwards ever.
What happens?
Colitis, you get colitis after the first fortnight's feeding. Well, that's when they're feeding you to try and keep you well, when they're kind, you know, to an ordinary patient. And they feed you gently, and they don't torture you. Even then, they can't forcibly feed you for a fortnight without you getting colitis. And you have that for the rest of your life. That's why it's always known as chronic colitis. Chronic?
Colitis.
Yes. Chronic pigmentary colitis is the name they give it.
But what happened when you were forcibly fed? Can you describe it, what it was like?
Yes, I think so. At the end of the tube is forced up your nostrils, if it will go. I wasn't hurt that way because it wouldn't go after he'd injured that nostril. I had it put down the throat, and the tube goes to a tundish into which they pour the food. And the fiends, they pour food in there that hasn't been softened, you know, hasn't been properly cooked or anything. That's anguish. It's such intense pain that it picked me up once and threw me across the cell. I'd been given bread and what they call bread and milk, but of course they only just put hot milk on the bread to pretend it's been cooked, and of course it hasn't. It isn't softened in it properly. And you get all those things, they're like brick ends in your inside, moving about. Oh, just terrible pain.
Did you resist?
Yes, as long as I could. I didn't go on resisting because it meant tearing my inside to pieces, you see, and making things worse than ever. Towards the end I got docile.
Did the wardresses hold you down while this was being done?
Oh, a whole lot of them. They were all around you. You couldn't move a muscle. You're covered with sheets. Because of course you bring your food back if you can. You generally can't. I think some of them could. But every woman had different experiences as far as I can make out. For instance, one woman went paralyzed in her legs. She had to be carried back to herself. She couldn't walk after she'd been forcibly fed.
It must be very frightening hearing them come towards you, mustn't it?
Oh
in
yes,
the cell.
Very frightening.
Mm.
But that injury to nose was anguish, and it went on all night long.
Mm.
Oh, I prayed that the morning might not come, because I knew I should have to be fed again. I didn't know how I could be fed in such pain.
How often did they do it? 3 times a day?
Yes, 3 times a day. Well, that isn't necessary. We could have lived if we'd only had it twice.
Mm.
And what I want them to know, that they did feed some of the prisoners on remand Now you haven't been sentenced, you haven't been proved guilty at that time.
Did you hear other people being fed when you were in the cell?
No, I was the only one. I screamed when they injured my nose. They said they heard it all over the prison.
Sure they did.
And I didn't intend to make a sound, whatever they did to me, because I knew the others had got to come after me to be forcibly fed. And I didn't want to frighten them. But I'd finished screaming before I realised it had happened, you see.
But did you hear them being fed afterwards?
No, I didn't hear them ever.
Mm.
Well, they kept us as quiet as they could, of course.
Did you see anything of the other prisoners?
Being fed? No, never. We each